Hello YouTube, welcome to my YouTube channel, Anna Bella, and today I am going to be reviewing Season 6 Part 2 of The Crown, which is the final season of The Crown. So let's get on to the review. Hello YouTube, welcome to my channel, Anna Bella, and today I am doing Part 2 of The Crown Season 6 review. Okay, there are 6 episodes in this, and unfortunately what I think happened is 3 things. 1, it lost its way. There were too many characters for them to focus on. They should have stuck with Elizabeth II and the Duke of Edinburgh and their story going forward. And I know it's very difficult because Charles is the Prince of Wales and you want to make sure that he has enough attention. But if you go down the Diana story, and they did it hard, even though they did it respectfully, you didn't see the car crash, you get stuck there because it means that Princess Anne doesn't get a look in. Andrew, the Duke of York, didn't get a look in, even with his relationship to Fergie. They didn't focus on that divorce at all. And we saw nothing of Prince Edward and his successful marriage to Sophie, who used to work in public relations. So if you go down the Diana and the William and Kate storyline, you get sucked into Charles's family rather than the whole royal family. And I think that that's where they went wrong. I fully know why they did Willmania. I think that that did deserve comment. But if you go down that route, you also don't see the others. And it's why Prince Margaret's story felt very cut out and isolated, and the Queen Mother's. And I know the reason for that, because the Queen Mother became more and more irrelevant as time went on. Her best scene in Season 6 so far was them having to explain the website to her, and she was completely at a loss. And that just shows you how time has gone on. And I know that that happens in regular families. Anyway, Princess Margaret is interesting because, yes, she was given oodles and oodles of time, but I felt that they didn't give her sufficient. Yes, she did have an episode where it focused on her because the late Queen lost both her mother and her dear sister within a 6-month period. No, not 6 months, 6 weeks. Sorry, my bad. Told off. Overall, I felt that it lost its way plot-wise because you focus on the monarch, but then you neglect her children, and then that whole story needed to be told. I really liked one of the episodes of an earlier season where the Queen had dinner with each of her children, and I felt that that was really good storytelling. I felt that in this season we should have had at least 1 episode on each child, or on the other 3 children. You know, because Charles and Anne are very, very supportive of each other, but I do feel that the Duke of York should have had an episode and Prince Edward should have had an episode just focusing on their story, because they're members of the royal family too. And I know that it's very difficult, particularly this season, because reality of the soap opera that is the royal family has been quite big, because we had the Platinum Jubilee, then the Duke of Edinburgh passed, then the death of the late Queen, and it all caught up. And then there's the whole Sussex thing that's rumbling on with press allegations, which are justified. I do think that he does have a case with the whole press hacking thing, because the press haven't listened to the Levingston inquiry, and they should have taken note of that inquiry. So a whole load of other stuff is going to come out. Yes, I know the Sussexes do whine, but we're just all going to have to live with that. And to be absolutely honest, the further time passes, the more irrelevant their story is going to be in the ongoing saga of the royal family. And I fully appreciate the scene at the end where you had Prince Philip saying, yes, but when Rome burns and the temple falls, we're going to be at sleep and peace. But actually, the reality is the British Constitution is sort of 3 parts. Yes, you've got the church part, you've got the monarchy part, and you've got the politicians and our political framework, and they're all intertwined. The ceremonies that people see, like the coronation and the waving on the balcony and the fireworks at a Jubilee celebration or a coronation or a concert, all of that are part of the Constitution, because it's not written down. It's what we do and how we do it. So it's politicians debating in the House of Commons. That's part of it. It's question time. It's your parish council meetings. That's part of it. It's your borough council meetings. It's unitary authority. All of these meetings and ceremonies, even Remembrance Day is part of it, because the ceremonies are part of the Constitution. We don't have a written one. It's what we do. So all of the meetings and all of the ceremony. And let's face it, the monarch works 24/7. Those red boxes keep coming. The only 2 days that they don't come are Christmas Day and Easter. Yeah? Government wheels will keep turning, whether there are elected officials there or a living, breathing monarch. They just keep going. It just passes on to the next person. That's why we have the elections, to get new people in. The civil servants run it whilst we're sort of in the middle of an election. That's how it works. It just keeps going. It does not stop. We can always get new people in, even though there is a shortage of political candidates. Anyway, enough about the Constitution and the fact that it's both written, ceremonial, and people waving on balconies. Yeah, it makes very little sense to outsiders. So for them to have a scene where the Duke of Edinburgh is going to say, yeah, but it could fall. It could, but they're not going to go anywhere because unfortunately, they're too tied to how it works politically, because the sovereign is the advisor to the Prime Minister. That's how it works here. Their head of state, Prime Minister, does the day-to-day drudgery of domestic, international relations and foreign policy, which could be the same thing, and defence. So it's really complicated because the government governs in the name of the monarch on behalf of the good of the people. So it's His Majesty's police service, it's His Majesty's prisons, it's His Majesty's military, it's His Majesty's Royal Navy, and on and on and on. It doesn't even need a passport, but there are loads of stuff. It's not just one thing. It isn't as simple as that. So I feel that they should have focused on her other children and given them a say, because once you go down the Diana and Charles and Camilla rabbit hole, you get sucked in and you end up at William and Catherine, who are far too young to have series made about them. And I fully get why they've done it, because it shows where the monarchy is going to go next. But what they should have done is they actually should have done an episode on Andrew, Prince Andrew, and his marriage falling apart, and an episode on Prince Edward and his life, because I think that would have been really interesting. I know why they didn't, because we had to be sensitive, because life has moved on quite quickly and caught up, and the crown's sort of been left to sort of go, oh, what do I do? And, oh, we've got to drop this earlier than I thought they would, which is why they ended it at the Golden Jubilee. Because, you know, we recently had the Platinum Jubilee. That's mad. And then she died. Yeah, it's all tied up with grief and remembrance. And, yeah, it's a whole thing. Anyway, overall, all 6 seasons of The Crown are definitely 5 out of 5. It is not a documentary. It is a docudrama. And to be absolutely honest, the 3 women that they had to play both Queen Elizabeth and the 3 people that they got to play the Duke of Edinburgh were brilliant. It was really, really good when it was just focusing on them and how they grew into their roles. And unfortunately, as time passes, it becomes less about them and more about their children. And they should have given Andrew an episode, and they should have given Edward an episode, purely because it would have taken some of the heat off them for the Diana and Camilla and Charles. Yes, he's the Prince of Wales, but he does have 2 other brothers, you know. Anyway, 5 out of 5. That's what I'm saying for the whole of The Crown. I enjoyed it. Yes, some people got history all wrapped around the neck and generally confused and shocked about this, that or the other. And it is true that both Jodie Fayed and Princess Diana were not wearing seatbelts in the car during that car crash. I'm just putting that out there. That is the truth. Had they worn them, they would not have died. You know, or they would have had less severe injuries. No one can say. There used to be far more car accidents and plane accidents and boat sinking accidents. It's only recently that these things have become so rare. Anyway, that's basically it. Yeah. Please like, comment and subscribe, and I'm done with The Crown. Hopefully I'm never going to have to review anything about the royal family ever again. Though the way it's going, I'll probably end up reviewing all the Tony Blair movies, but I fully understand why they didn't go as far as they did, because it's too close. History is only history sort of when you've got 20 years of letting it settle, and some of this stuff hasn't settled. I did like the way that they did 9/11.
I love the fact that we heard it on the radio, which meant that we didn't have to see any pictures, because that would have been hugely triggering for everybody who was alive at the time, because I was 12 and it was literally watching a disaster happen 24/7 on TV. And we literally just watched planes go into towers, and then we watched people jump out, and it was awful, awful. And we watched the towers crumble and fall, and you were just like in real time. There was no stop button. It was the first time ever that an event that has been broadcast like that. And hence why you can't really find very many pictures, because it's just too traumatic for everybody, because they made us watch it live as it was happening. Yeah, in fact, you can even still watch the footage of George Bush, who was, you know, happily reading to some elementary school children in America. And he got told, and his face is like, complete blank of what on earth. Oh my goodness, I can't leave. I don't want to scare the children. Let's just continue reading this, and then I'm going to get out of here as soon as I've finished reading this book. Anyway, that is that. The Crown. It is done. Overall, I would give it 5 out of 5. Its early seasons are its best, but then again, you are dealing with a Queen and Duke of Edinburgh who lived 9 decades, and that's a lot of stuff to pack in, and obviously they can't do everything. But one of my favourite scenes is actually when they went to go and visit the Daily Mail, and they got to see all their photos that the Daily Mail took of them, and I found that really interesting, because I'm guessing now that the royal family kind of takes their own photos and puts them out, because that's what they really should do, because that is the era of social media. You control your story and you put out what you would like to put out. Anyway, I've spoken enough. Please like, comment and subscribe, and don't forget to click the notification bell for my next video. Bye!
Well, I hope you enjoyed my review of The Crown Season 6 Part 2, which is the final season ever of The Crown. They're not doing any more. They decided that they would end The Crown with the deaths of the Duke of Edinburgh and obviously the late Queen Elizabeth II. So that is what they've decided to do. So I hope you have enjoyed my review of it. Please like, comment and subscribe, and don't forget to click the notification bell for my latest video. That's basically it, and a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to you. Bye!